Hey YouTube, Dr. O here. Today, I'm going to show you how to put a 500 cubic inch blown nitrous big block in this Toyota Rav4. Well, not really, but I am going to show you how to change the front struts. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and start, the obvious stuff. You're going to jack up your car, you're going to remove the wheels. I think that's a given. It's fair to mention here, we do use a fair amount of air tools in the shop. Make some of the things a bit easier to do with jobs like this. This can all be accomplished with just basic hand tools, ratchets, wrenches, and a little bit of muscle grease. So anyhow, we're just going to come over here. We've got the car up, wheels off. I'm going to start on this one using a 14 millimeter. Going to disconnect the wire here for the ABS. Just one bolt. And the procedure here on the driver's side is going to be the same as it is on the passenger side. So now we've got that unhooked. So that holds the ABS wire. It also holds the brake hose here, so just kind of go ahead and set those to the side. I'm going to take and pull the two bolts here out that hold the strut to the steering knuckle on. If we take like a 22 millimeter there. You don't want that. You're going to want to hold the other side there with a wrench. And just go ahead and crack those loose, take it out straight off. There's two. They come off pretty easy with air tools. The next thing we got unhooked, well, it looks like we got a little wire connector here on the strut. Let me go grab a screwdriver. There's like the wire for the ABS here. Let's see if that just pops right open. And it does. That just pops open. Allows your wire to come out the rest of the way. So we got those out. Next thing we're going to have to do down here is unhook the sway bar link. You can see this car is covered with snow and salt and all kinds of trash. So that makes car repair here in New York a little bit more difficult. Ideally, there'd be a hole here in the middle that we could use an Allen socket on. Right in here. I've already gone through with a screwdriver and kind of dug out some of the rust and stuff. That's how we're going to attempt to take this apart the first go around. I'm going to stick an impact on the outer nut here. It's just going to kind of shock it and bust it loose for us. Then we're going to hammer in a Allen socket into here, hold this with a wrench, and then try to take it off that way. So let me grab my impact and we'll give this a go. Okay, I've got my impact. Takes a 17 millimeter. Just going to give it one whap like that just to kind of bust it loose. This one is a 6 millimeter Allen socket. I'm going to kind of beat that in there. And what we're going to do is, we can see that, so just hold that with a wrench. Now theoretically, I should be able to stick a smaller impact on there. And now remember that you're going to go in the right direction here. We're going to be actually running this bolt in as opposed to using it in reverse, so make sure you get that right. And this will either work or it won't. In that case, it worked. Now, if in the event that you're doing that, and your sway bar link is solid rust and that doesn't work, the alternative is vice grips. Typically, you can get behind them. You can see it has a little metal flange on it. You can get your vice grips back there, behind your strut, clamp them down, and then take it off, with a wrench, impact, whatever you're using there. So that's always an option if the center of it's plugged up, stripped out. Not uncommon for us to see here. Quite often when we're doing struts, we're replacing sway bar links too because they're typically wore. These ones aren't, and the customer didn't request them, so we're just going to keep on moving forward here. All right, we're under the hood now. Everything's unhooked on the bottom. We took the nuts off the bolts that go from the strut and the steering knuckle. Just leave those hooked up for the time being. We're coming up here on the top of the strut. On this Rav4 here, you've got 3 nuts on the top of the bearing plate. We're going to use 14 millimeter. Use a wrench, whatever you can get in here. I'm going to go through and just crack all these loose. It would be my suggestion after you get them cracked loose. The front one's the easiest one to get to, so just go ahead and take the rear 2 all the way off, and you'll see why. I'm going to take that one off. get it. I have to wrench them all the way out. I don't know. Okay, we've got the two rear nuts off. We got the front one loose, the left knot. We're gonna come back over here for a second. Got everything ready to go technically to take the strut out. What we're gonna do is we're just gonna pop these two lower strut bolts out now. And I should probably caution you, don't let the steering knuckle, if you can avoid it, try not to, yank right out on it, because you can see when this moves, it moves the whole CV shaft here. Getting this last one out, gonna make things kind of wobbly. So just be cautious of that. Don't try not to rip the CV shaft right out of the transmission there, or split your boots apart, or pull the shaft apart internally and save you a little bit of headache. So we're gonna go ahead and just separate that. Make sure the steering knuckle looks like it wants to just stay there for us, so that's good. Now we're gonna hold on to this, hold on to the strut, go up and take our last nut off. Okay, I'm gonna use an impact. Sometimes this would be helpful to have two people. You could have one person hold it, you take the last one off, but we're just gonna go ahead and hold up on it. Spin that last nut off. Kind of keeps some up pressure out. Get down here where you can see what you're doing. Take and slide the whole strut out. So it's simple as that. This thing's all covered with dirt and salt. I'm going to rinse it off real quick with a garden hose, and then we're going to go over and I'm going to show you how to take the spring off and to replace the strut cartridge. I think we got it. Okay, we're back here in another shop with where we keep our strut spring compressor. A couple ways you can do this. I'm going to just stick this up in here so I don't have to hang on to it. We'll stick this in our spring compressor. Go ahead and get this set up. This is obviously the best way to do this. If you're changing your own struts and you have means to take the strut out, you've got another source of transportation, and you can just take your struts down. Take this old strut cartridge to a shop and have them switch the spring over for you. I don't know what they charge. Here we might get half-hour labor or something to swap them over. I think the book time's like 3/10 of an hour. So it may be in your best interest when you get to this point, just take your strut, take it to a shop, have them swap them over. Pay the few dollars. You've already saved quite a bit. Taking your own struts out. So just count that as a plus, and then just kind of leave the dangerous work to somebody else or somebody that might have one of these. You can get these like I don't know if the AutoZone does, but Advanced Auto, our local one, you can actually go rent these out. I just got them just to show you. I don't recommend these things. You can use them; they work. They're super dangerous. So anyhow, somebody might have another video using this. We're going to do this method here. So I've got it in the strut spring compressor. I'm going to go ahead and put some pressure down on this. Clamp out of here. Mouse trap, very important. Alright, now everything's hooked up good. I'm going to go ahead and just take some tension off this thing. Alright, we've got our strut loose. We'll pull the cover off the top. Now these struts are junk, so before you put a lot of bad comments in the comment box, we're just going to snap on these on the shaft repair vice grips. You wouldn't want to do that on a new strut. Clamp on that. We're going to use an impact again, a 19mm on the top. Take the nut off. Undo our vice grips. Take our strut out. I'll stop the video for just a second. I'm going to go grab the new struts we got, swap over some of the insulators, the joust bumper, and show you how to do it. Okay, we've got these down in Advanced Auto. We got these struts here. These are made by Monroe. Probably buy them online, advancedauto.com or whatever parts store you shop at, or parts warehouse, or wherever you go. I don't know which one's which, so we're just going to open them up and compare. Looks like this one here is the left side. Sway bar link bracket's the same. Brake hose bracket's the same. So we're going to go ahead and, like I say, transfer over some parts here. that little guy off. Swap over the joust bumper. That's in case you're doing some serious off-roading or you want to jump your Rav4. Keeps you from bottoming out. Pull this little guy out. I'm gonna go wash this off over here. Got the rubber insulator washed off. Got that back on there. Strut appears to be fully extended. Yeah, that's fully extended. Rubber back in there. So what we're gonna do is just gonna put it back in, just orient it just like it was. You can see our little rubber boot stayed up in there. Looks like it's part of the strut bearing or right at the bottom there. Line that back up. Like that. So I just use my little clamp I keep out here to hold that in. Stick our new nut on. Now I see the top of the strut here on this model. I actually didn't have to hold it with vice grips. Got a flat spot on it, flat side on that stud there. When that goes up into the top bearing there, that should lock it. That should lock it in. So that should allow us just to tighten this nut down without having to hold the dong or the shaft. So anyhow, we'll get this started. All right. Now that started, that we don't want to jam that down with impact. So I'll just grab a ratchet here and we'll just go ahead and tighten that up real quick. Shouldn't be turning the shaft. Nope, it's not. So that's where a lot of people go wrong on strut spring compressors. They get to this point and they want to, He-Man this thing. You can see it already wants to start to turn. This is where, all hell can break loose. You can knock this thing out of the spring compressor. So just snug it up. That's all you need. There's probably a torque spec on it, but snug is good. So take our clamp off there. Kind of just make sure everything's right in place where it was. If it's not, might take a little more tension off it. Everything lined up. I'm going to go ahead and back it off. Using one of the other types of tools, just make sure you read the directions that come with that, or YouTube how to use those. Okay, so there's our new strut. It's all put together. I checked this before I tore it apart, but I just fair to show you. This is the strut bearing plate here. This is what allows your steering knuckle that hooks down here. It's what allows it to rotate when it's in the car. So whenever you're doing a strut, make sure you check these. Make sure they rotate freely. Typically, you can turn them by hand. There shouldn't be any scraping, grinding, gritty noise or binding per se. Typically when these are set up in the car and you turn and the steering plate is seized, they'll make a pretty distinct sound. It's like a boing, I guess, for lack of a better term. You'll turn your wheel and it'll be boing, 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 boing. It's usually the sound it makes. It's the best description I can give you anyways. So anyhow, we're gonna go put this back in the car. All right, we're back to the Toyota. We're going to put this back in basically just like we took it out. It could be a little trickier because we have to line up the holes, so just kind of get it up under there. Experience helps you along with this a little. All right, well, let me get this last one here. All right, we've got those all inserted by hand. Just going to grab a wrench, snug those up, and we're going to go back underneath. Got all three of those tightened down now. We're going to come back around here. Almost lined up already. We're going to go ahead and just lift our steering knuckle up into our strut. Sometimes it's kind of handy to have a bar or a screwdriver or something just kind of stick in there just to hold it. Because you can be a little bit of a stinker to get in there. Let's see if we can't get this in. It came out of there, so we should go back in, right? All right, we got that one. You get one in. It's always a lot easier to get the second one in theory. All right, we've got those in. I'm gonna raise it back up so we can work on it a little bit easier here and finish the job. All right, we're back, kind of back up in the air. We're gonna work on it a little bit, so we're just gonna spin the nuts back on these bolts here. tools that we used before, the 22 millimeter. One thing I want to check is sometimes these struts are slotted. This one is not. It has a little bit of movement there, but we're gonna have the alignment checked anyway as soon as we're done here. Alright, we got a little tight now. I want to hook up our ABS and brake hose. Now these were a little bit trickier, so the brake hose kind of hooks into there. Hooks up top. I don't know if you can see that. And then the ABS wire kind of just mated right over top of that. Come around there. And then one bolt that held that all together. Grab a wrench and put that back together for you. I gotta tell you, this is an absolutely fabulous tool. I usually don't toot up tools too much, but this Ingersoll Rand 90-degree impact is probably one of my favorite tools to use. Like 100 foot-pounds or so. I've had it for quite a while now. I bought them when they first came out, and I think it's been great, absolutely great. I don't know if you're in the air tools or not, but if you are, that's a good one to own. So now we're gonna finish this up. Turn up the sway bar, pretty much just like we took it apart. Use our 3/8 impact, putting our impact in reverse, holding the nut. Got it out. Should be able to push that off just like that. So simple as that. Put our tire and wheel assembly back on. Well, actually, we're going to do the strut on the other side first. Put our tires and wheels on. Then we're going to check the alignment, make sure the front end's good. And simple as that. I think you can do it. Okay, I have to admit it. I was just getting ready to start the other side and realized I forgot something. So I want to show you. I went and got the old strut. Remember the wire clip we unhooked? One of the first things right off? Well, I forgot it. So here it is in the old strut. Just reach in there with a little pair of needle nose and pop that little guy out of there. What I did with the needle nose pliers, I reached in there and I squeezed those two little lock tabs. Squeeze that, pull it out of the strut. Hopefully this new strut has a slot cut in it. Appears that it does. Click it in there. Hook that little wire back up for the ABS. Clip it back shut. There. Now we're officially done. I'm gonna go back over to the other side.